Be a man and stop clinging to me. 5 years of marriage. 5 years of building a life together, of promises and compromises and shared dreams. And it all came down to that single sentence, delivered with such contempt that I actually felt something inside me die. We were in the bedroom. I had reached for her hand while we were watching TV, the kind of casual affection that should be normal between married people. Not sexual, not demanding, just wanting to hold her hand. Wanting to feel connected to my wife. She pulled away like I'd burned her. Seriously? Her voice was sharp, annoyed. Can you not do that? Do what? Hold your hand? Yes. That. You're always touching me, always pawing at me, always wanting something. It's exhausting. I felt my chest tighten. I'm your husband. Is it really so terrible that I want to be affectionate with you? Be a man and stop clinging to me. She said it loudly, dismissively, like she was talking to a child who wouldn't stop whining, like my desire to touch my own wife was pathetic and embarrassing, like I was failing at masculinity by wanting intimacy with the person I married. The room went quiet, except for the TV still playing in the background, some sitcom laugh track mocking the moment. I sat there, hand still hanging in the air where she'd rejected it, trying to process what had just happened. This wasn't frustration. This wasn't stress. This was humiliation. She had weaponized my affection, turned it into something shameful, something that made me less of a man in her eyes. I pulled my hand back slowly. Okay. Okay what? Okay, I'll stop clinging to you. She rolled her eyes, clearly thinking this was just another hurt feelings moment that would blow over by morning. She had no idea what she'd just set in motion. I stood up, turned off the TV, and went to bed. She stayed on the couch for another hour, probably relieved to have the space she'd demanded. When she finally came to bed, she climbed in without a word, turned her back to me, and fell asleep. I lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, feeling something fundamental shift inside me. Not anger. Not even hurt, really. Just a cold, clear certainty. She didn't want my affection. She found it suffocating. She thought wanting intimacy with my wife made me weak. Fine. I would give her exactly what she wanted, and we would see how long it took her to realize what she'd lost. Part 2. The relationship context. She stopped trying long before I did. To understand why that sentence destroyed everything, you need to understand what led up to it. This hadn't started that night. It had been building for months, maybe longer, and I'd been too stubborn or too hopeful to see it clearly. She had been pulling away for a long time. It started in small ways, the goodnight kiss that became a peck on the cheek, then nothing at all. The morning cuddle that she started cutting short, always having somewhere to be, something to do. The casual touches throughout the day, a hand on her back as I passed, a kiss on her forehead while she cooked, a hug from behind while she did dishes, that started being met with stiffness, with subtle pulls away, with sighs of irritation. In bed, she would turn away from me before I even reached for her. Her back became a wall I wasn't allowed to cross. When I did reach for her, tried to initiate intimacy, she always had a reason why not. Too tired, too stressed, not feeling well. Had to be up early, on her period. Not on her period, but still not in the mood. The rejections piled up until I stopped trying. And when I stopped trying, she didn't notice. Or worse, she was relieved. I thought maybe she was going through something. Work stress, family issues, hormones, depression. I tried to be understanding, patient, supportive. I took on more household responsibilities. I planned date nights. I asked what she needed, how I could help, what I could do differently. Nothing, she'd say. I'm fine. You're overthinking things. But I wasn't overthinking things. I was watching my wife systematically eliminate every form of physical and emotional intimacy from our marriage while telling me I was imagining it. I started keeping track, without meaning to. It became this mental tally I couldn't stop counting. 14 days since she'd kissed me first. 21 days since we'd had any physical intimacy. 32 days since she'd told me she loved me without me saying it first. The numbers kept climbing, and with each one, I felt myself shrinking. The worst part was how she started treating my need for affection like it was a character flaw. Any time I expressed that I missed being close to her, she'd act like I was being unreasonable. "We have sex," she'd say, which was technically true if you counted the obligatory once-a-month starfish routine where she'd let me finish while clearly thinking about her grocery list. What more do you want? Connection, warmth, passion. To feel like my wife actually wanted me instead of tolerating me. To feel like I was her husband instead of an inconvenience. But asking for those things made me needy in her eyes, made me clingy, made me less than a man. There was one night, about 3 months before the Be a Man incident, that should have been my wake-up call. We were at a friend's wedding. Beautiful ceremony, emotional vows, the whole thing. During the reception, a slow song came on, and I asked her to dance. She rolled her eyes. "I'm tired. One dance, please. When's the last time we danced?" She sighed dramatically, like I'd asked her to climb a mountain, and stood up. We went to the dance floor, and I pulled her close. She was stiff in my arms, her body language screaming that she didn't want to be there. I tried to connect, to look in her eyes, to have a moment. She was looking over my shoulder at her phone that she'd left on the table. "Can you be present for 3 minutes?" I asked quietly. "I am present. You're just being extra." That word, extra. Like my desire to have one romantic moment with my wife at a wedding was excessive, unreasonable, too much. We finished the dance in silence. She went back to the table. I went to the bar and tried to figure out when we'd become strangers. I started to internalize it, started to believe that maybe I was too much, wanted too much, expected too much. Maybe I was defective for wanting my wife to actually want me back. I watched other couples and wondered if they felt like this too. If their wives also recoiled from their touch. If they also lay in bed at night feeling unwanted and undesirable and trying to convince themselves it was normal. I asked my married friends subtle questions. How often do you guys, Trying to gauge if once a month was normal. They'd laugh and say things like, "Dude, we're lucky if we get twice a week." And I'd realize that my marriage was not, in fact, normal. Her friends loved to talk about their relationships around me. At dinner parties, they'd discuss their sex lives openly, complaining about their husbands wanting it too much, meaning 3 or 4 times a week. My wife would join in, rolling her eyes about how demanding men are, and I'd sit there silently, wondering what it would be like to be married to someone who wanted me 3 times a week instead of 3 times a quarter. The rejection became a pattern I could predict. If I tried to initiate in the morning, she was too groggy. If I tried at night, she was too tired. Weekends should have been better, but she was always too stressed from the week, too focused on chores, too anything but interested in being intimate with her husband. I tried being more romantic. Planned a weekend away to a bed and breakfast she'd mentioned wanting to visit. Booked it months in advance, took care of all the details, thought maybe getting away from our routine would help. The first night there, I ran her a bath, lit candles, opened wine. She took the bath, drank the wine, and then came to bed and immediately turned away from me. I'm exhausted from the drive. The second night, I suggested we skip dinner out and order room service, have a quiet night in. We ate, talked about surface-level things, her co-worker's drama, her sister's upcoming birthday, and then she said she wanted to watch a movie. We watched a movie. She fell asleep. I lay there wondering why I'd spent money on a romantic getaway to be rejected in a nicer bed. On the drive home, she said, "That was nice. We should do that more often." I wanted to scream. What was nice about it? What had we connected on? When had she shown any sign that she valued my presence? but I just said, "Yeah, it was nice," and drove home in silence. I tried talking to her about it one last time, about 2 weeks before the "be a man" incident. Sat her down, explained as gently as I could that I felt disconnected from her, that I missed the physical and emotional intimacy we used to have, that I was struggling with feeling rejected all the time. She listened with her arms crossed, face impassive. When I finished, she said, "I'm not a sex doll. I don't exist to service your needs whenever you feel like it. Maybe if you were more attractive to me, I'd want to be intimate. But you're always moping around, always needy, always desperate for attention. It's not sexy." Every word was a knife, but the real damage was in what she was saying beneath the words. I was the problem. My need for affection was the problem. If I would just be different, better, stronger, less needy, then maybe she'd want me. I internalized that too, started working out more, tried to be less emotionally available, gave her space, became more independent. None of it worked because the problem wasn't me. The problem was that she had stopped wanting me, and nothing I did was going to change that. And then came that night, that sentence, that final humiliation. Be a man and stop clinging to me. She didn't know it, but she had just given me permission to stop trying, and I was going to take that permission and use it to save whatever was left of my dignity. Part 3. The shift. I take her words. Literally. The change started the next morning. I woke up before she did, which was normal. Usually I'd make coffee for both of us, bring hers to the bedroom, kiss her forehead to wake her gently. Not sexually, just affectionately. It was our routine. That morning I made my coffee, only mine, drank it, left for work. She texted me an hour later. "You didn't make me coffee," I replied. "You're capable of making your own coffee." She sent back a confused emoji. I didn't respond. That night, I came home and went straight to the gym I'd rejoined the week before. Didn't tell her where I was going. Didn't ask if she needed anything. Just changed and left. When I got home 2 hours later, sweaty and energized, she was in the kitchen looking annoyed. "Where were you?" "Gym." "You could have told me." "Why? You're not my keeper." She blinked, clearly taken aback by the response. I walked past her to shower, didn't touch her, didn't explain further. In the shower, I thought about what I was doing. Was I being petty? Maybe. Was I being passive-aggressive? Possibly. But I was also being honest for the first time in months. She didn't want me to touch her, to need her, to cling to her, so I wouldn't. I stopped all of it. Every single thing she'd complained about. No more touching her, not casually, not affectionately, not sexually. My hands stayed to myself at all times. No more asking about her day with genuine interest. "How was your day?" Became a formality I didn't actually care about the answer to. No more compliments. I'd gotten into the habit of telling her she looked beautiful, even when she rolled her eyes at it. That stopped. If she wanted to know if I found her attractive, she could wonder. No more trying to fix things. When she complained about something, I said, "That sucks," and moved on. No solutions, no deep discussions, no emotional labor on her behalf. No more seeking closeness. I stopped trying to cuddle on the couch, stopped suggesting we watch things together, started reading in bed while she scrolled her phone. We existed in the same space but lived in different worlds. No more initiating anything intimate. If she wanted me, she could make the first move. I was done being rejected. I became polite, distant, emotionally unavailable, not cold, not cruel, just completely done trying. I treated her the way you'd treat a roommate you got along with but weren't particularly close to. Cordial, functional, detached. The first few days, she didn't seem to notice. Or if she did, she seemed relieved. This was what she wanted, right? Space, independence, a husband who wasn't constantly trying to be close to her. But by day 4, I could see her starting to register that something had changed. "Are you okay?" she asked one evening. "I'm fine." "You seem distant." I'm giving you space. Isn't that what you wanted? I didn't say I wanted space. You said I was clinging to you and that I needed to be a man. I'm taking your advice. She frowned, clearly wanting to argue but not sure how to argue against me doing exactly what she'd told me to do. By the end of the first week, the shift was complete. I had fundamentally restructured how I related to her. She was no longer my wife in any meaningful sense. She was a person I lived with, a person whose opinion I didn't particularly value, a person who had rejected me so many times that I'd finally stopped offering myself to be rejected. And the strangest thing? I felt lighter, freer, like I'd been carrying a weight I didn't realize was there until I set it down. I wasn't trying to earn her affection anymore. Wasn't walking on eggshells wondering if today would be the day she'd be warm toward me. Wasn't lying awake analyzing every interaction for signs of hope. I was just living my life, and she was no longer the center of it. Part 4. Her confusion. She didn't expect to lose control. By the second week, she was actively confused. She'd try to start conversations, and I'd respond with the bare minimum. She'd complain about coworkers, and I'd nod sympathetically but offer nothing more. She'd mention wanting to watch a show together, and I'd say, "You go ahead, I have other things to do." The dynamic had completely flipped, and she didn't know how to handle it. "Why are you being weird?" she asked one night. "I'm not being weird. I'm being what you wanted me to be. Less needy, less clingy, more independent, more of a man, according to you." "I didn't mean you should completely shut down." "Then what did you mean?" She didn't have an answer. The truth was, she had wanted me to want her while not bothering her with that want. She wanted to know I desired her without having to deal with that desire. She wanted the validation of being pursued without the inconvenience of actually being caught. But I'd stopped playing that game, and without it, she was lost. She started testing me. Little things designed to see if I still cared. She wore a dress she knew I liked. I didn't comment on it. She mentioned a guy at work had complimented her outfit. I said, "That's nice," and went back to my book. She stayed out late with friends without telling me. I didn't ask where she'd been. Each test failed to get the reaction she wanted. I wasn't jealous. I wasn't attentive. I wasn't interested. She'd come home and find me content, doing my own thing, perfectly happy without her. Reading, working out, cooking for myself, existing in a way that didn't require her presence or approval. One night, about 3 weeks in, she came into the bedroom where I was reading and sat on the edge of the bed. "Are you mad at me?" I looked up from my book. "No." "Then why are you acting like this?" "Like what?" "Like you don't care about me. I care about you as much as you care about me. I'm just matching your energy." "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means for months you've made it clear that my affection is unwanted, that my desire for intimacy is clingy, that wanting to be close to my wife makes me less of a man. So I stopped. I gave you exactly what you asked for, and now you're upset about it." "I'm not upset." "Then why are you in here having this conversation?" She didn't have an answer for that either. She stood up, frustrated, and left the room, but I could see it in her face. She was starting to realize something had fundamentally changed, that the husband who used to orbit around her, who made her the center of his world, who tried so hard to win her affection, was gone, and in his place was someone who didn't need her anymore. Part 5. Her jealousy, when I found a life outside. The real shift happened when I started genuinely building a life that didn't include her. I'd been going to the gym regularly, and it showed. I'd lost weight, built muscle, carried myself with more confidence. I felt good in my body in a way I hadn't in years. And people noticed. A woman at the gym started chatting with me. Nothing inappropriate, just friendly conversation about workout routines and goals. Her name was Rachel, and she was training for a powerlifting competition. She'd see me struggling with form on certain lifts and offer advice. "Try widening your stance a bit." Keep your core tighter there. Simple stuff, but delivered with a smile and genuine helpfulness. It was nice. Nice to talk to someone who seemed interested in what I had to say. Nice to have someone smile at me warmly instead of with irritation. Nice to feel like my presence was wanted instead of tolerated. After a few weeks of these casual conversations, Rachel mentioned her gym was hosting a beginner's powerlifting workshop and I should check it out. I said I'd think about it. I mentioned it to my wife casually that evening, the way you'd mention any innocuous social interaction. Met someone at the gym today who gave me some good advice on my deadlift form. She competes in powerlifting, said there's a workshop coming up that might be helpful. Her head snapped up from her phone. Someone? Who? A woman who works out there. She competes in powerlifting, actually knows what she's talking about. A woman. Yes, a woman. Women are allowed to give fitness advice. What's her name? Rachel. And she invited you to something? A workshop at the gym. It's a group thing, not a date. How often do you talk to her? I don't know. A few times a week? She's there around the same time I am. Her jaw tightened. Is she pretty? I haven't really thought about it. She's knowledgeable about lifting. That's what matters. So she is pretty. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. But she was bothered. I could see it in the way she kept bringing it up over the next few days. Are you going to the gym again? Did you see that woman? You're spending a lot of time there. Are you going to that workshop thing? I found it amusing, honestly. For months she'd been rejecting me, pushing me away, making me feel unwanted. But the second there was even a hint that another woman might find me interesting, suddenly she cared. I went to the workshop. It was educational and fun. Rachel introduced me to other people in the powerlifting community. We all went for coffee afterward, talked about training and goals and the mental side of lifting heavy weights. I got home 3 hours later than expected. My wife was waiting up. Where were you? I told you, the workshop. For 3 hours? We went for coffee after. Group of people from the gym. Was she there? Rachel? Yes. She organized it. I don't like you hanging out with her. I'm not hanging out with her. I'm participating in a hobby that she happens to also participate in. It's weird. What's weird is that you're suddenly concerned about my social life when you've spent months making it clear you don't want to be part of it. She didn't have a response to that. I started going out more, not to bars or clubs, nothing like that. Just out, to bookstores, to coffee shops, to the park, places where I'd read or work or just be alone with my thoughts, places where I didn't have to be around someone who made me feel like my presence was a burden. One Saturday afternoon, I went to a bookstore and ended up in a conversation with a woman browsing the same section. We talked about books for 20 minutes, exchanged recommendations, and went our separate ways. Completely innocent, completely normal social interaction. I mentioned it to my wife when I got home, again in passing. Had a nice conversation with someone at the bookstore about science fiction, got some good recommendations. Someone? A woman who was browsing the same section. Did you get her number? What? No. Why would I get her number? I'm just asking. You're asking because you're paranoid, which is ironic considering you've spent months acting like you couldn't care less if I existed. She'd ask where I was going, and I'd tell her the truth. But I wouldn't invite her, and I wouldn't change my plans if she wanted me home. You're gone a lot lately, she observed one evening. You said I was suffocating you. I'm giving you the space you wanted. I didn't say I wanted you gone all the time. You also didn't give me any indication you wanted me around. She didn't have a response to that. I reconnected with friends I'd been neglecting, started saying yes to invitations I'd been declining because I wanted to be home with my wife, who didn't want to be with me anyway. Went to a buddy's poker night, grabbed beers with coworkers after work, joined a rec league basketball team that played every Tuesday night. My life got fuller, richer, more enjoyable, and she wasn't part of it. The basketball league was particularly good for me. Physical activity, male bonding, competition, fun. I looked forward to Tuesday nights in a way I hadn't looked forward to anything in months. After games, we'd grab food and talk about life. These guys didn't know about my marriage problems, and I didn't burden them with it. I just enjoyed being around people who liked having me around. One Saturday, I was getting ready to go play basketball. She was watching me from the bed. "You look good," she said. It was the first compliment she'd given me in months. I didn't acknowledge it, just finished getting ready and headed for the door. "When will you be back?" "Not sure. Probably late afternoon." "What about lunch?" "I'll grab something out. We could have lunch together when you get back." "I already have plans, maybe another time." I didn't actually have plans, but I also wasn't interested in suddenly being available the moment she decided she wanted my time. She started checking my phone. I knew because I left it on the counter one day and came back to find it had been moved slightly, the angle different than how I'd left it. She wasn't subtle about it. I didn't call her on it because I had nothing to hide, and I found her paranoia almost satisfying. Let her wonder. Let her worry. Let her experience the anxiety of not knowing where her partner's attention was, the same anxiety she'd been inflicting on me for months. I changed my phone passcode anyway. Not because I had anything to hide, but because she didn't have the right to invade my privacy just because she was suddenly insecure. When she asked for the new code, I said, "Why do you need it? I'm your wife, and I'm your husband, but you've made it clear we're more like roommates than spouses. Roommates don't have access to each other's phones." "You're being ridiculous." "I'm being consistent with the boundaries you established." Her friends started noticing the change, too. We ran into one of them, Sarah, at the grocery store, and Sarah pulled me aside while my wife was looking at something. "Hey, I don't know what you're doing differently, but you look great, like, really happy." I smiled. "Thanks. I've been working on myself." "It shows. Seriously, you're glowing. Whatever you're doing, keep it up." My wife was quiet on the drive home. Then, "What did Sarah say to you?" "That I look good." "She said more than that. I saw you two talking. She said I seem happy." "Are you? Happy?" I thought about it. "Yeah, actually, I am. Happy. Without me. Happy without needing you. There's a difference." She was quiet for the rest of the drive. That night, I overheard her on the phone with her sister. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but our apartment wasn't that big, and she wasn't exactly whispering. "I don't know what to do. He's different. He doesn't need me anymore. He goes out all the time, he's always at the gym, he has all these new friends, and he looks good. Really good. Like better than he's looked in years. And I know it sounds crazy, but I think other women are noticing." Her sister said something I couldn't hear. "I know I pushed him away. I know I did this. But I didn't think he'd actually leave. Not physically leave, but emotionally. It's like he's already gone." More talking from her sister. "I don't know if I can fix it. He barely looks at me. He doesn't touch me. He doesn't try anymore. And the worst part is I did this. I made him stop trying, and now I can't get him to start again." I went to the bedroom and closed the door. Let her have her conversation. Let her process what she'd lost. Because she was right. I was already gone. The question now was whether there was anything she could do to bring me back, or if the distance had become permanent. And honestly, I wasn't sure I wanted to come back. Part 6. The breaking point. She can't handle the distance. It happened on a Friday night, about 5 weeks after the Be a Man incident. I'd come home from work, changed, and was heading out to meet friends for dinner. She was on the couch, clearly expecting me to stay home. "You're going out again?" "Yes." "We haven't spent time together in weeks." "You haven't wanted to spend time together in months. I'm just respecting that." "Can you cancel? Stay home with me?" "No." "Why not?" "Because I already made plans, and I'm not interested in canceling them." Something in her face crumpled. "You don't want to be with me anymore." "I want to be with someone who wants to be with me. You've made it abundantly clear that's not you. I left. When I got home that night, around 11, she was still awake, sitting on the couch in the dark, waiting. We need to talk. Okay. I sat in the chair across from her, not next to her. What's happening with us? Nothing's happening. You wanted space. You got it. I didn't want this. What did you want then? Because from where I'm sitting, you wanted a husband who didn't bother you with affection, who didn't need intimacy, who didn't cling to you. That's what you have now. I want my husband back. That husband is gone. You killed him when you told him his love made him less of a man. She started crying. I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it then? I don't know. I was frustrated. I felt smothered. So you pushed me away, and I stayed away, and now you're upset that I'm not fighting to come back. Yes. At least she was honest. She moved to sit next to me, reached for my hand. I pulled away. Don't. Why not? Because you don't get to reject my touch for months, and then demand it back when it's convenient for you. That's not how this works. I miss you. You miss having someone chase you. There's a difference. She was fully crying now. Please. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize what I was doing. I didn't realize how much I was hurting you. The problem isn't that you didn't realize. The problem is that you didn't care. Every time I tried to talk to you about feeling disconnected, you dismissed me. Every time I reached for you, you pulled away. Every time I asked for intimacy, you made me feel pathetic for asking. You trained me to stop wanting you, and I did, successfully. Can we fix this? I don't know. Can you? What do you mean? I mean, are you actually sorry, or are you just sorry that you lost control? Are you actually interested in intimacy with me, or do you just miss the validation of having someone want you? Because I'm not interested in being your ego boost anymore. She didn't have an answer. A few nights later, she tried to initiate sex. Came to bed in lingerie I'd bought her years ago that she'd never worn. Kissed my shoulder, ran her hand down my chest. I moved her hand away gently but firmly. What's wrong? I'm not interested. Why not? I'm your wife. A wife who spent months making me feel disgusting for wanting her. You don't get to turn it on and off like a switch. So what? You're punishing me? No, I'm protecting myself. There's a difference. Do you not want me anymore? The honest answer was complicated. Did I still find her physically attractive? Yes. Did I want to be intimate with someone who had systematically destroyed my self-esteem and made me feel worthless? No. I don't want pity sex, I said. I don't want duty sex. I don't want you pretending to want me because you're panicking that I've stopped chasing you. If and when we're intimate again, it'll be because you genuinely want me, not because you're trying to manipulate me back into pursuing you. She sat back, lingerie suddenly looking sad instead of sexy. You really think that's what this is? I don't know, but I'm not willing to find out at the expense of my dignity. She got up and went to the bathroom. I heard her crying through the door. Part of me wanted to comfort her. The part that had spent years trying to be a good husband. But that part no longer controlled my actions. I'd given her years of myself. She'd taken it all and given me nothing back but contempt. I didn't owe her comfort now that she was experiencing a fraction of the pain she'd caused me. Part 7. Her begging, the power dynamic. Flips. The next few weeks were surreal. She became the person I'd been for years, initiating affection, trying to spend time together, actually listening when I talked, being present, making an effort, and I kept pulling away, not to be cruel, not to get revenge, but because I genuinely didn't trust it. This felt like the behavior of someone who was panicking about losing control, not someone who had actually changed. She bought lingerie. I didn't react. She cooked my favorite meals. I thanked her, but didn't read anything into it. She suggested date nights. I went, but remained emotionally detached. She sent long, emotional texts while I was at work. I responded with, "Okay," or "I hear you." She started crying a lot, in the mornings, at night, sometimes randomly during dinner. Each time she'd look at me like she wanted me to come fix it, to comfort her, to make it better. I didn't. "Why won't you help me?" she asked one night after another crying session. "Help you with what?" "With this. With how I'm feeling." "How you're feeling is the consequence of your actions. I can't fix that for you. Only you can." "You're so cold now." "No, I'm just not setting myself on fire to keep you warm anymore." She started demanding attention in ways that felt desperate. Asking where I was going, when I'd be back, who I was with, getting upset when I didn't immediately respond to texts, complaining that I wasn't being affectionate enough. The irony was suffocating. One night, she literally begged. We were in bed, and she rolled over to face me. "Please touch me." "No." "Why not?" "Because I don't want to." "You used to always want to." "That was before you made me feel like a pathetic loser for wanting you. I'm not interested in repeating that experience. I won't do that again, I promise." "Your promises mean nothing right now. You promised to love me, to be faithful, to be my partner. But you weren't. You were cruel, and I'm not giving you the opportunity to be cruel again." "What do I have to do to fix this?" "I don't know. Maybe nothing can fix it." She started crying again, harder this time. "I can't lose you. You already lost me. You just didn't notice until I stopped chasing you. Please, I'll do anything." "I don't want you to do anything. I want you to actually want me. Not because you're scared of being alone, not because you miss the validation, but because you genuinely value me as a person and a partner. And I don't think you do. I think you took me for granted, and now that I'm not available to be taken for granted, you're panicking. That's not true. Isn't it? For months you treated me like I was annoying for wanting intimacy with my own wife. You made me feel pathetic. You told me to be a man and stop clinging to you. So I did. I became a man who doesn't need you, and now you can't handle it." She had no response. The worst part was watching her experience everything I'd experienced, but from the other side. The rejection, the confusion, the feeling of not being enough, the desperate attempts to win back someone who had stopped caring. It should have felt satisfying. Shouldn't it? Getting to watch her finally understand what she put me through? But it didn't feel satisfying. It just felt sad. Sad that we'd come to this. Sad that she had valued me so little that it took losing me completely for her to realize what she had. 2 months after the Be a Man incident, we had the conversation that would determine everything. She asked for it formally. "Can we talk? Really talk?" I agreed. We sat in the living room, coffee between us, like we were negotiating a business deal rather than trying to save a marriage. "I know I messed up," she started. "I know I hurt you. I know I took you for granted, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I nodded, acknowledging the apology without accepting it. "I don't know why I acted that way," she continued. "I think I got comfortable. I think I stopped seeing you as a person and started seeing you as just there. And I stopped appreciating what that meant, that you chose to be there, every day, even when I gave you nothing in return. Okay? Is that all you're going to say?" "What do you want me to say?" "I want you to say we can fix this, that you still love me, that we can get back to how we were." I took a deep breath. I don't want to get back to how we were. How we were was me constantly trying to earn affection from someone who treated my love like an inconvenience. How we were was degrading and painful, and I won't go back to it. But we could be different. Better. Could we? Because here's what I've learned over the past 2 months. I'm happier without you than I ever was with you. Not because you're a bad person, but because you didn't value me. And the moment I stopped trying to force you to value me, I found peace. You're happier without me? I'm happier without needing you. There's a difference. She absorbed that. So what does that mean for us? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if there is an us anymore. You killed something fundamental when you told me I was less of a man for wanting intimacy with my wife. You can apologize for it, you can regret it, but you can't undo it. So you're giving up? No. You gave up months ago. I'm just accepting that reality instead of fighting against it. I want to fight for us now. Now that I've stopped fighting, that's convenient. That's not fair. Life isn't fair. You taught me that. We sat in silence for a moment. Do you still love me? She asked quietly. I considered the question honestly. I don't know. I think I love who you were when we first got together. I think I love the idea of what we could have been. But do I love who you are right now, who you've shown yourself to be over these past months? I'm not sure I do. She started crying. So that's it? We're over? I didn't say that. I said I don't know. And I think that's the most honest answer I can give you right now. What would it take? For you to know? Time. Consistency. Actual change, not just panic. I need to see that you value me when you're not afraid of losing me. I need to see that you want intimacy because you want me, not because you want to control me. I need to see that you respect me as a man, as a person, as a partner. I do respect you. Then show me. Not through desperate attempts to get me back, but through sustained effort. Prove that you've actually changed, and this isn't just temporary panic because you lost control of the dynamic. How long will that take? As long as it takes, and maybe it'll never be enough. Maybe the damage is too deep to repair. But if there's any chance for us, it starts with you understanding that I'm not coming back to being that desperate, clingy husband you were ashamed of. I'm this person now, the one who values himself, the one who won't beg for scraps of affection, the one who knows he deserves better. Take it or leave it. She wiped her eyes. I'll take it, whatever it takes. We'll see.